What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Rene Marcus. She's out of the UK, but her original home is the Gambia. Last time we had Rick and Cynthia from Black Acres of the Gambia on the show, and shout out to them. And Rene talks about the Gambia and different things that go on there. We definitely have some questions for her, about her journey and how she get in the UK, etc. So Rene, thank you for joining us on the show today.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, Rene. So, for people that maybe never heard of your channel before, or tell people just a little bit about it. What is your angle? What are you trying to do on your channel?
Okay, so Rene Marcus, it's actually a Gambian YouTuber. Some people like to refer me as a British girl who promotes Gambia, but to describe myself and my channel, I am a Gambian YouTuber who currently lives in the UK, and my channel, it's all about the Gambia since I started day one, and it's all about promoting Gambia to the world.
Okay, so the first thing you said is you do understand why they say you're a British girl, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong. Were you born in the Gambia?
Yes, I was born in the Gambia.
Okay, so you're a Gambian citizen.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you end up going to the UK?
Well, I think I was around about 10 or 9 when I sat with my dad, or I phoned him, and because he lives in the UK, well, he has been in the UK for 22 years. And I said to him, Dad, I'm ready now to actually travel and come over to the UK to further my education. And he was like, okay, is that what you want? And I said to him, yes. So he then started to do the process and everything. And then when he was ready to bring us over to the UK, it just happened. I wasn't even expecting it to happen so quick. So at a very young age, I then moved over to the UK to further my education. And then here I am today.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. So you felt that it was better to go to the UK for education?
Yes.
Okay. So we noticed that in definitely us as African Americans, we noticed that a lot of people from the continent will leave the continent, right? And you got your degree, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that process of what they're calling the African brain drain, right? So you take all the people who, get education, people who smart, your doctors, lawyers, business people, and they all leave the continent and they go to the West, or someone may go to China. And then you even went there, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we get into that too. But so you left the Gambia, went to the UK, got your education. But if everybody leaves the Gambia and do the same thing, how do you think the Gambia is going to look?
That's exactly true. So as a young child and seeing not everyone, but my best friend leaving the Gambia to move over to the UK, and other people that I knew, and the beautiful pictures that I see, a lot of things, basically, movies that I watch, I just wanted to be like them as a young child. And that was one of the reasons why. And also the English accent was basically something huge, and it still is, because in the Gambia, when they hear you speak English, people will straight away turn around if you're from the UK or from America. So this is something huge in the Gambia. And as a young child, the dream is to further your education in a well-developed country, to come back to your country. It's to come back to the country and basically have that skills that they've learned to develop something in the country and get the country moving. So a lot of people, that's the reason why they want to travel. And in regards to a lot of people wanting to move from their country to, let's say, a different country to further their education, I guess it's basically not appreciating what we have. So it's basically people like me having to educate people to say, hey, look, Africa has all these resources. Why don't we actually develop it? Let's work together and show what Africa has so that we don't have to travel and make the same mistake like others did. So, but this is the message that we have to send out there so people appreciate we can travel within the continent to actually further our education, because there are good universities.
Right. Let me ask you a question. So let's say if it's is it infrastructure or is it a lack of schools? Let's say we go to talk about the Gambia. We're not going to talk about no other country.
Yeah.
Is it infrastructure or lack of schools?
There are schools. There are schools, but also the education in the Gambia, it's not perfect. Not perfect, I would say, unless you basically are from a rich home where your family can actually finance you to go to a higher education and pay, because I believe there's like American schools, British schools and things like that. But if it's just a government school, the quality, the standard is different. So, and also when you graduate, jobs will not be available for you because, number one, they will look at the school that you've been to. So let's say people that have been to government school, it's going to be very hard for you to get a job. So this is something as well that the government need to look into.
Okay, so let me recap. So if you go to a good school in the Gambia, you probably would be unemployed.
If you go to a good school in the Gambia, a well-recommended school, because there are, I think, CBEC, it's a British school. So schools like that, if you go to schools like that, you will be well recommended after graduation. Maybe if you want to go to college, because then your parents can afford it. Because CBEC, schools like CBEC, it's for rich kids.
Okay,
so that means that you have a better opportunity to get a job after education.
So when you say about rich, how much per month is tuition?
Well, I'm not sure about the tuition because I have not looked into it. But all I know is that those are one of the best schools in the Gambia. And there are other good schools in the Gambia. But let's say I went to St. Teresa's Lower Basic Schools. And that school, it's okay. It's a government school. And graduating from that school, I may be lucky to get a job, but not 100%.
Okay. So now you mentioned, I know you mentioned British and you mentioned something Western, right? Yes. Is that what you're saying, that it has to consider basically a westernized school,
exactly.
white school to be considered
has to be
good?
Westernized, exactly.
But it can't be Gambian to be considered good?
So exactly. So all these private schools that I've basically heard of, they're just international schools. But the government ones are not onto that standard for people to actually recommend it and recognize it. So that's why parents in the Gambia, when they can afford to take their children to, let's say, a private school, they will take their kids to private school, because then they have better opportunities to graduate and get a job at the end of it. And not everyone can afford to go to university as well in the Gambia.
Well, it's the same thing here in America. And everybody can afford the universities, and the universities will get you broke in America. That's for sure. So, because what I'm trying to understand is, as a Black American, African American, we see a lot of people coming into this country here in America, and they want to they leave their country to say they want a better life, etc. But let's say somebody like me, I can go to the Gambia or Kenya or whatever, and when I see it, I see opportunity. I'm looking around like so much business opportunity, so much, you could hire people, you could do this and you could do that. And I guess that's the thing that maybe, and maybe you can explain that. Is it that we have an advantage when we see more business, or it's because of the education we have? Like, what is it? Because every Black American I know that go there with that mindset, within a few years, they make it real, good. Of course, the Chinese, they're doing it, and other ones.
That's true. Well, the first thing I would say, it has to do with education and also the experience that you have. So someone like me, for example, let me take it on the education side first. Because I'm a graduate, if I was to go to Gambia and say that I'm gonna basically apply for just a normal customer service role, and also another Gambian who actually studied in the Gambia and has never traveled, went to an interview with me for the same role, I know 100% I will get that job. Number one, because I'm from the UK. Number two, because I've actually got British qualifications. So that's another thing why people in the Gambia actually feel like, oh, they need to travel in order to make it, not realizing that they can make it with or without the education being there. So when you travel to, let's say, Africa, within 24 hours, you will see a whole lot of opportunities that people maybe might see, but don't want to do it. For example, let's say a delivery company, or let's just use this as an example, a cleaning company. So a lot of people in the Gambia wouldn't want to be a cleaner because cleaners are one of the lowest paid jobs in the Gambia, not knowing that if they can actually create their own company and employ different people and market themselves out there to show people what they can do, they will make so much out of it. But the minute that you want to say, oh, I'm going to be a cleaner, or recommend that to someone, maybe that person might even insult you.
But the question I have is this, okay, a lot of people don't want to be the garbage man, but somebody got to be that, right? We can't have garbage all over the place, right? You live in the UK, you know I don't know how the garbage people pick up trash, but they pick up trash, right?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I saw about the Gambia, and I was supposed to go, you know, I think last year or so, but it got canceled, but I'm going to get there. One thing I saw that's an easy business for anybody, if you got a CDL, is waste management. If anything, on those beaches.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you get a couple of trucks, a couple of guys, you know, you could clean up and make waste management in some of these countries.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you mean to tell me they don't have people in the Gambia who got a CD, well, not they can drive those trucks, right? And get a couple of guys, or, you know, ladies, we don't want to be offensive, all ladies,
okay,
to help pick up trash, you know, and do waste management. I mean, that's a simple fix to a real world problem that's going on in the Gambia. You get what I'm saying?
That's true. I think there's actually a company in the Gambia that does that, but I don't think they do that in the beaches. I'm not sure. But because I was watching the news, I think this was like 2 months ago or so. There's a company, or it's the government that has actually created it. So I think within each area, or the bad areas that have been badly destroyed, they will then, what will happen every month or every week, they have to chip in by paying something towards that company for them to actually come at the end of the month, or a certain period of time to come and clear that place up. So I'm aware something like that is actually going in place. But the thing is, Gambians don't actually support things like this as well. So I know that the previous president used to do set settle, something that we call set settle, that every Saturday from I think 9 o'clock till 1 p.m. everyone must go outside and clean. So that doesn't happen anymore. But when that used to take place, it used to help. But right now, that is not happening. And the company that I've actually seen in the news, I still have not heard anything about them doing the job. So I know waste is something big in our country.
Yeah, because see, when a person like me see that, then eventually what's going to eventually happen, the Chinese will come in and say, oh, okay, well, let's do this. And then it'd be the Chinese doing it all. And then now Gambians, you know how Chinese roll, they only hire their people for the most part. And if they hire Gambians, they're not going to treat them right. We've seen so many stories on that, you know, just on the continent. And what I'm saying is being self-sufficient, because coronavirus itself, right? You know how we all been locked down and the borders have been closed. Like I said, ruined a lot of our trips, probably ruined some of your trips that you wanted to take. So it cut everybody off. So I know that it should have taught the Gambia, at least, that you got to be self-sufficient. You can't depend on aid. You can't depend on the West. I mean, because nobody can come in your country.
Yes, but the thing is, the government needs to help a lot. Because
I agree. But let me tell
because
you,
yeah,
not to cut you off, I just want to
it's
add something
okay.
I forget. Okay, the biggest problem in the African continent, I'm talking about all over it, is when you people like to say the leaders, but I would say the government. Okay,
Yeah,
because it's the government's responsibility to make sure trash is cleaned up, water is running, the lights stay on. You know that's their responsibility.
exactly. Yes, so that is so true because let's say a lot of these people in the Gambian are not aware of how important it is with things to do with hygiene. So if the government is to come out and maybe come up with a strategy to educate people, to show them this is very important to keep us healthy, I'm 100% sure people will actually follow and do exactly what they have to do to keep themselves safe. So this is another thing as well that the government needs to look into. And people like me that have a platform to promote Gambia, once I go to the Gambia, I will try and reach out to the government and see what I can actually get out of them, because the hygiene issue is something very big that Gambians should actually be doing. And most of the homes are doing their best, to be honest. Not, I won't say everyone. It's basically not aware of how important hygiene is, but some people do basically don't have any idea of what they do, how much it can actually have an impact on their health.
And you know, one thing I can also talk about the Gambian people is that if you study, the transatlantic slave trade, some of the people from Senegambia at the time, that's what it was called, were brought over here to the Americas to be slaves, but they didn't bring so many because the Senegambians had a lot of them fought back pretty heavy
Yeah.
against it, and of course they brought from definitely 10 different tribes, but they definitely brought people that's definitely spoke Wolof, etc., which you're teaching that on your channel, which is a good thing. Do they know the history of the transatlantic slave trade since Gambians were taken in the slave trade?
I don't think a lot actually are aware of it. Some do know, because I had to learn a lot when I actually moved over to the UK from my dad and also others. And with my channel as well, I have learned a lot from my African brothers and sisters in the diaspora, because I do read my comments. So, but when you're in the Gambia, people have bigger issues to actually worry about, which is the government. The government needs to help, infrastructure, and a whole lot of other things. So to sit and educate them about it, or I don't even think on TV they actually do lecture, lecture the Gambians about the history of our ancestors and things like that. And this is something as well that we can actually look into to do so that people are aware.
Yeah, well, to me, it's Gambian history, though. It's not just history here, but it's Gambian
I
history.
know.
Because if you don't know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it. You understand what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. We got problems that we need to eat, we need the lights on, etc. But it's part of, like in the UK, they teach history all the time. I know you know all about probably UK history, and probably don't know the dark side of it. Probably not.
No, it wasn't I wasn't into history anyways in the UK, but in the Gambia, they did teach kids about the Gambian history and the slave trade and stuff like that in a very early age. But I'm not sure whether they actually do that in like higher education. So that's something that I'm really not sure of. And also, like we all already know that not everyone is actually educated or has actually had higher education in the Gambia. So that's something that I'm not able to actually say, to know that whether everyone has actually got no history about slave trade in the Gambia and stuff. I'm sure most do, but not everyone. Because I'm sure if you ask a lot of people, they will just say they don't know. Apart from the Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte, he's a very famous man, so everyone knows about Kunta Kinte.
Right. And Kunta Kinte, he definitely was a rider for sure. But let me ask you a question. What has been your exposure like personally with African Americans? Have you had any kind of like experience with us as a people?
Well, before my channel, no. But when I
hold on,
started,
hold on. So you never like really interacted with us personally?
well, my grandma, she's actually in the United States. But apart from that, I don't really have American friends, and maybe like see them in the street, maybe like I don't have an American friend. So I haven't really actually interacted with one before to have like a proper conversation.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
so basically you say you may see they got expats for sure in the UK, I know.
Yes.
Okay, what they were more in Manchester?
All over really, all
Really?
over the UK, not
Okay.
just Manchester.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking that question, so basically you really don't know our culture other than maybe what you've seen on the internet or maybe seen on TV.
Exactly. And what I've heard people saying to me about Americans,
I'm
that's
glad you
just
said
it.
heard. Why is it in 2020 that that's still acceptable? In other words, what I mean by that is I would not listen to somebody say something about Gambians and just and say, you know what, I got to find out myself. So either I'm going to go or I'm going to do my research or I'm going to talk to people. Maybe it could be Gambian here in the US. I'm going to do a lot of research before I make up my mind about Gambians or any of my brothers and sisters on the African continent. So why is it still kind of accepted to accept propaganda that comes from and listen, where I live is straight white supremacy, okay? From a white supremacist system that always say black is bad, black is ugly, black this is everything's horrible. You get what I'm saying? Like they taught us that we shouldn't go to Africa. It's dirty, it's warlords, it's feed the children and all of that. And then when I from people that say like you say, well, they told us that y'all were criminals, y'all were this, y'all were that. I'm like,
but that's all you heard though. Like when it comes to America, a lot of things that like I've always wanted to visit, but sometimes I just think, does it worth it? Because a lot of stories that I've heard, oh, someone got shot in the head while driving, scary things like that. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go on holiday and something like that happening to me. So that has been the reason why I still have not made up my mind to actually visit, to be honest.
well, I'm gonna tell you, listen, you ain't got to get shot in the head. Something could happen to you anywhere. Okay, trust me.
That's true.
But now, yes, for instance, if you came like you visited Houston or whatever, I would tell you, hey, this is the area you need to be. This whole area, go over there, have your good time. This one section, stay from over there. That's
Okay.
not the only issue that I would say that, but we try to lessen these issues as much as possible. Is the police, that's the thing in America, the police, and I would say you probably would have a quicker encounter with the police than somebody out there committing a crime. That's just kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But they had people tell me, oh, you don't want to go to Africa because they got AIDS, they got this, they got that. Do you feel safe out there? Oh my God. And then when I went myself, I got angry. Do you know why I got angry the first time I went?
No.
Because I was lied to.
I do hear that a lot. And I kept asking myself that question. How comes these people saying to me they've been lied about, Africa, the story that they've been hearing about Africa all through their life was just lies. Why didn't they do the research? Why didn't they go on YouTube? Because it's so easy to just type Africa and see videos about Africa and different things about Africa. It's not everything is not just negative. Because I'm the kind of person, if someone says something to me about a specific person or a country, I would do my research first.
Right. And that's the same thing I was basically saying to you earlier. I don't know why people have that attitude about us. And really, and the reason why I want to talk to you a little bit about, us here in America, because you just told me you haven't really had much of interaction with us too much.
Yeah.
But due to our history and our story, right? And even I've seen some Africans will say, and we just shake our head when we hear that, but say, oh, those Black Americans, sometimes they come off as racist. Well, first and foremost, we don't have the power to be racist in America. We don't. You have to, in order to be racist, we understand it's a power system with racism, right? Listen, somebody say, I don't like you because you're black. I don't care. Don't like me. But the fact is, when you say, I don't like you because you're black, and now I'm harming you, like preventing you from getting a business loan or a home loan, that's harming me because you don't like me because I'm black. So you're harming me that way. Or the police are locking you up unjustly or doing something to you because they don't like you and they're using the power of the government to do it. That's racism. Saying I don't like you, who cares, right? Call me a name, I don't care. Call me names. So we've been through this like for a long time, right? So when people like myself, I'm just using me for example. When I went to the continent, I was gonna use that word with you, but you don't speak that. Like, yeah, I use that word with you. The white people are the Mzungus, right?
Mzungus, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, they sit up there, and they knew the difference in 2 different countries so far with me versus a continental African before I even spoke. They knew the difference real quick, and I always say we give off of energy. Like Black Americans, we do, because in our lineage is a lot of battle, is a lot of warriors, a lot of we have been tested. We constantly being tested and fighting constantly. And I don't know if you've seen that or some of the history of that, but you know, why is it some, not all, continental Africans kind of sometimes even get afraid of us with that coming back to the continent, in your opinion? Why is that?
Well, I wouldn't say afraid, because the thing is, Africans are just kind in general. And I think sometimes you might, or people might actually misunderstand their kindness. And I definitely wouldn't say Africans being scared of, let's say, the Americans returning back to the continent, because Africa is your home. But it actually also depends the type of person that's actually returning back home as well, because it depends the type of attitude you're actually bringing to the continent, and also your mission as well to the continent. So because Africans are the kind of people, yes, we're very welcoming and calm and warm, but if we actually see that, okay, the direction this person is actually taking, we don't like it, and this person, it's not stepping back, then that's when you would actually see the other side of Africans.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's like this. You respect people, they respect you. You be disrespectful, they disrespect you. It's like me. I won't even go down to another city in America and disrespect them, right? I'm gonna come with a eye to look and listen, and I'm gonna come with a humble heart. That's usually how I approach, right? And then I want to just be friendly. That's how I approach. But everybody's personality could be different. You understand? But I always look at your motives at the end of the day. I see what you bring into the table, because every personality is just a little different, right?
That's true.
But what I'm seeing is, and just listening to some videos you've made in the past, is that I believe, and I think you're one of them, don't know our culture, because our culture is totally different. Like when we see things as Black Americans, and when we feel it's harm to our family, trust me, when we come back, we don't want to see no one harming a Gambian. We can literally see what people are doing on innuendo. You know, we know how it is in America. So when we get angry and we looking at things of the abuses or the misuse of Gambian people, or we want to lash out or go off, it's kind of like the protectionism that a lot of times that we have with our own people, because we like, okay, we coming from America, right? We refuse to sit there and let some other group of people disrespect, abuse, take advantage of our people on the continent. We're like, hell no, I'm that way. I refuse to let it happen. I mean, you understand kind of like where I'm coming from with that?
Yes, I do. But in regards to that, it also, because that's the American culture you're talking about, and you would have to understand the
Black American culture. I'm not talking about America. There's a difference.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So with the Black American culture, it's completely different to the African culture. So with Africans in the continent, when you've actually seen something that has actually happened, or something that's about to happen, and you don't like it because you know that, okay, I can see danger, or this has actually started damaging something, There's a way you can actually sit with your people and explain it to them, or try to educate them, rather than just blashing it out there to them in a very harsh way, as if that's how it is, that's how you're going to say it. Because I see that a lot of African Americans, when they see something happening within the continent or within, let's say, the community that they live, they would just basically blash it out exactly how it is, with no filter whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Africans can find that very offended. Like, we would not take that. You would have to say it in a very respectful way for us to actually digest it. That's just the way that we are. And I believe that if someone is actually moving to someone else's country, you would have to learn the culture and also learn the way those people actually do things, and not do it your way. Because you need to think, if you do it your way, the way that you've been brought up, would that actually affect the people in that specific country that you're trying to help? Because there might be some truth in what you're saying, but we might not see it, because all we will see is the harshness you've actually came out to actually deliver that message to save us.
Right. Well, I do now, as a like myself, me personally, I do have an approach, to, it depends on the situation. There's a time that I may approach real aggressive, and then it may be a time I may approach, let me teach something for a minute. So it depends on the situation, right? But that's why I was saying is we need to learn each other's culture, because we all have different ways of expressing ourselves. Yes, I understand that the way we come across to continental Africans, at times they could be like, they're abusing me, the way they're talking. But we're not being abusive. We just a lot of times, a lot of us are really blunt, right? We just put it out there because no one is going to, like, here in America, nobody's going to hold you by the hand and say, well, Phillip, it's this, it's that. No, that's just not the way America works. So it's like, coming from that environment. Yes. I mean, some of our neighborhoods, unfortunately, some of them, pretty rough. So you got to be tough. Sometimes some of us have seen a lot of death, growing up, struggle, beatings. There's a lot of things that we have seen. So we had to put on this extra layer of skin to be tough, so we're not broken as a people. And I'm surprised we even existing, actually, as Black Americans, all the things that's been done to us, right? So when we come back to the continent, I agree with you. It's a right way to talk to people, and it's a wrong way, right? But I'm a type of person, certain times I do need a swift kick in the butt. So I need that blunt person to get on, and he's like, Phil, you effing up. Phil, look what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Versus, and then if something is not working, right? This is how I operate. If I'm not doing something right, or something that's like keep failing in my life the way I'm doing it, then I will listen to somebody else. Say, well, what are you doing? It seems like you're pretty successful at that. What are you doing? Right? So, and what I've seen that Africans on the continent want to learn. They want to grow. They want to learn our culture. I like to learn theirs. So I just think that because we all starting to come back together, right? I think that we should just be patient with each other. That's what I would say. Because, some things we may do, you guys may feel is rude. And some things that you guys may do, you're like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? I just think we just need to be patient.
That's true. And also in regards to, we need to learn each other's culture. If you actually, for example, if I was to go to Gambia, let's say I've never been to Gambia before, and I've seen a lot of things that I know, oh, I can actually change this. I can educate these people to do it this way. I can educate them by in different ways, in different form. I can be very, let's say, if I'm to send out my message like I do on my platform, I can send it out in a very bold way, by not insulting anyone, by not calling names. Because in regards to Africa or Gambia, respect is key in our country. It's a cultural thing. In order for people to listen to you, you must give us that respect. You telling the truth to people is hard enough. Adding insults on top of that can be very hurtful. At the end of the day, people wouldn't see any truth on what you're saying. It will only be the insults that people will pick out.
I can definitely agree with that. And like for instance, if you watch my channel, I've went in on a whole lot of people and I don't say certain things because I understand what you're saying. By me having this platform and doing it so many years, I understand that my words carry a lot farther, right? So I understand that if I kind of say certain things that I really want to say, but I understand that, you know, maybe it's not going to be received a certain way. But it took me time to get to that point, though. You know, I didn't know from day one. I would say the content I used to make years ago, I would never make today. Because I you know, it's like one of them things, you know, you know better, you do better.
Exactly. Yes, that it is. That's what it is. And also what I've also noticed is that a lot of our brothers and sisters actually relocating to Africa. Most of us actually need healing. And some of us don't actually realize that we need to heal before we can actually teach others. So this is another thing that is actually causing a lot of clash between the Africans in the continent and Africans returning back. Because if you're actually holding on things that have actually happened, and you can't change things in the past, but you can make your future brighter and better.
Right.
By helping yourself and also helping others by educating people and accepting to be educated. So that's how I see it on my side.
Right. Well, you know, like I said, I'm a firm believer, be the student forever and never really call yourself the teacher because you always want to learn, right? But we can learn from the past and we don't want that repeated. We don't want the transatlantic slave trade repeated. We don't want colonialism repeated.
Not.
Because, you know, we're looking at how the Chinese are coming in and what they're trying to do to all of the African continent. So we see what where they're going, what due to the system we live in. So like,
we do as well. We do as well.
So we can learn from each other. And for me, I don't know what class you're talking about because I've been, you know, at least like I said, so far, the 2 African countries, 2 way different cultures. And it was no clash. It was, you know, hey, we got along, we talked, I met great people, you know, people, they taught me a whole lot of things that I need to realize. And now it helped me to be more well-rounded in my commentary because now I understand my brothers and sisters here in America. I understand some of the brothers and sisters on the continent. We have people that work for us on the continent as well. So I believe we get along a lot more than be apart on some things. I'm just being honest with you.
You're right. Absolutely right. Because I think on my channel, due to what has happened in the past, a lot of my brothers and sisters actually think, oh, Rene Marcus actually hate Americans or African Americans, which is absolutely not the case.
Hold on. Stop. Please. Let me ask you a question. Rene Marcus, do you hate African Americans?
Definitely not. If I hate them, I'm hating myself.
Okay. All right. So do you feel that at times you maybe took the culture that we have and it maybe was offensive to you because you're not used to our culture, so you lashed out in ways you probably wouldn't have lashed out? Because you haven't lashed out to me not one time.
No. I've actually never ever lashed out to any African American before, apart from one, which I don't actually want it to repeat itself again. It has happened. We've learned. We've basically, now we know better. That's how I'm going to say. That's basically what I'm going to say. We know better and we can handle things in a different way when things like that happen by educating people.
Yeah, and the thing is, what I've learned out of life, give people time, because giving people time, they learn and they grow and they say, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done it like that." I mean, like I'm right in what I was saying, but maybe just my approach shouldn't have been like that. And the same thing with you. It's thing you just said that, man. I get what I was saying, but maybe I shouldn't have did it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we have enough problems in the world going on right now. And we don't need to be having these, you know, like some people say, these diaspora wars, or we don't need to be having that junk. At the end of the day, we all black, no matter what color, we all black. Yes, there's different culture of black. Yes, we all speak different languages, but we're all black. When they look at us, the Chinese gonna call you black, the Mzungu will call you black. Everybody gonna call us black.
That's true. But the thing is, with Gambia, we are still healing from 22 years of dictatorship. So having people to actually come to our country, which is your country as well, because you're returning home. If you do not know the history and what the Gambians have actually been through, before you actually sit and insult Gambians, it's best to understand why Gambians do certain things and try and educate them in a better way so that both of you can understand each other on a level.
But basically what you just said is if someone comes with maybe just a little lack of education by, you know, what, you know, President Jammeh, what he was doing, right? In some instances, you know, some things that former President Jammeh would say, I was like, yeah, say that. But then some things he was doing, like, nah, bro, they ain't right. You know what I'm saying? But see, me, I study that. Yeah, I look into the different African countries. I look at the presidents. I look at, you know, I look at all of that. But most people not into what they call geopolitics as much as I am, right? So it's good just to educate. It's good to say, sometimes it's good to say, well, let me explain to you why my people are this way. And then you can be the person to do the education. You know what I'm saying? When you see a lack of education or you see a lack of, oh, they have a lack of knowledge here. So let me make a video and explain why my people react this way, why my people think this way, why my people talk that way. And then maybe they can watch you. Oh, okay, I get it. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's why I say now we know better and we can handle issues like this in the future so that we can understand each other on a level. Right. And educate each other.
But it's not no beef. Like I said, I don't even like that word put out there. Like we got a beef.
I don't like it.
A beef with each other.
I don't have a beef with no one.
Not you, absolutely. Not you. I know you ain't got no beef because we don't know each other to have a beef. but my thing is, what I'm saying is, we just different. That's all. We different cultures of people. And you know, a lot of times they want us as, you know, either continental African or, like I say, a diaspora African, to be all the same. We're not a monolith. It's thousands of languages spoken, many ethnicities. I know they don't like the word tribe anymore. So ethnicities on the continent, you know, so much history. And we need to understand we are the most, you know, one of the most unique people on the planet Earth. And it's good to be that. That's not one of, you know, it's sad to me to hear that if a school is British or American, that's a good school. But if it's Gambian, well, I don't know. That's
what happened. This is why our brothers and sisters need to return home and change things. Things can only be better if we work together, join hands and change things. Because a lot of things are happening in the Gambia that's out of our hands. It's the government that's doing it. But us, if we join hands and basically put all our ideas on the table and basically implement them, we can change a lot of things.
Right. Well, you know, one person I highly respect, you know, is Sister Juliet that went down there to the Gambia, and she's literally, you know, working with the government to get the Constitution changed. So
she's doing amazingly well.
At least the Gambian government will listen. At least they will see the avocation. At least they will see that you're trying to work. So with a government like that, sure, they got some people in it that's probably just doing some wrong things, but America got plenty of people in our government that do wrong things. Look at our president. But to start, but anyway, we got to look at the positives as well, right? And I believe the African continent, including Gambia, has a bright future. We just got to see what the issues are and come there and be a blessing. You know, I tell people the thing that you can do, Rene, and I can do, the best thing we can do to help the people is to go create businesses and give the people jobs. That is the best thing we can do.
That's true. And that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing, definitely.
I'm doing my part as well.
Oh, that's good.
Definitely doing my part. So, and like I said, you can do your part even in the UK. You can hire Gambians to do with things that you need done. I mean, I know they got some educated Gambians that probably you say, shoot, I want them to do, I don't know, with some data entry. I want to do this, anything, you know, you can hire them.
Well, yes, I've actually started a project in the Gambia. I'm not sure whether you've seen it on my channel, but I've started, well, the poultry farm. which has been going on, I think, since last year, March, that I started the building and everything. So it's still going on. It's not ready yet. And also I'm planning on opening my own bakery, and also in different locations, and also a chicken restaurant and coffee shops as well. So I'm basically planning to do a lot in my country to employ as many Gambians as possible to support.
Oh, so you're a baker?
Yes, I love to bake.
Oh, okay, yeah, because my wife has a cake business, and when we went to Nairobi, and she was looking looking around and said, "Man, it'd be a good place to put a bakery." I'm like, it's the continent is, they say, trust me, some of the things that my wife do with cakes, say, oh, they don't have this, so it'd be good.
Oh,
but we need
wow.
more bakeries. But long as the bakeries don't put all that American trash in the food, don't put that. That's how we all sick here in America. GMO, this chemicals, and look on the African continent. It's the best food in the world. Like you get
absolutely
fresh. You guys have grow soursop out there, which is a big cancer fighter, right?
We have a lot.
Yeah, you guys have a lot. Like, don't let ramen noodles in your country, please.
No.
I would tell you, do not let these foods in your country. Oh my God, because like I said, these people in America feed us trash and wonder why we. It's the truth. It is the God.
It's just the same in the UK as well.
Yeah, well, it's the westernized thing. They don't care about people's life; they care about money. That's what it really was all about.
That's what it is. Yes.
Just like just before I wrap up, just like the pound. And I don't know why I thought about the pound. You ever know why the pound is so strong, even over the dollar?
I've always wondered. Actually, no.
Do you know about the gold reserves in the UK?
No.
Okay, the UK has a massive gold reserve. Okay. Now, do you know where to get it from?
Africa.
The Gold Coast, which is Ghana. They took all the gold that they could out of the Gold Coast, which is Ghana, and they have that reserves, and the pound is backed by that gold reserves they took from Ghana. That's why the pound is always stronger than the dollar.
That makes so much sense. Now I know.
Yeah, even your queen, she has a one of the largest diamonds that was ever found come from the continent of Africa. Wangel covered that one.
What can we do? This is why we need to return back home and get things moving and change things.
Yeah,
so that no one will come to the continent to take anything away from us.
Right, but you got to have people there that's going to have that attitude, like, forget that. Y'all not coming down here no more. No, go back to your country. Go back where you come from. We know what you're about. You get what I'm saying? You're going to have them, because you got to have people to protect, because they're not going to stop coming until they see, okay, well, maybe we can't come to the Gambia no more and do the God evil things that I can't say and trust. If you know where I'm going with that, but I'm not going to say it fully. If them people if there's enough of us, if even enough Gambians go down there to those beaches and clean house, of course, you got to provide a economy too. And I tell people that wouldn't work if they had a good economy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had even 10 to 20,000 people go back to the Gambia, all 20,000 people create businesses, hire a lot of the Gambians, even in that local coastal area right there, you wouldn't even have so many issues or problems anymore, because those parents can work and they would have their kids.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say economics is always the key to everything. But Rene, tell people how they can find your channel.
So all they need to do is type my name on YouTube, Rene Marcus, and you'll find me on YouTube.
All right. If you guys want to learn Wolof, Rene speaks that fluently. And she's teaching people how to do Wolof, not speak Wolof. I'm saying not speak.
I hope you're learning as well.
You know what? I'm still trying to pick up on Swahili.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to pick up on that. I'm trying to learn more words in Swahili and trying to learn phrases, because, I kind of want to start my journey in East Africa. So I want to, and then even if I went to South Africa, they do speak some Swahili down there.
They do. It's a huge thing, actually. I think I will learn as well in the future.
Yeah, I definitely want to, learn. And even my little girl, I want her to learn Swahili as well. I mean, the little bit I know.
It's important.
Yeah, she knows. Because I felt I'm gonna say as a Black American, I felt ignorant the first time I went to the continent. And the reason why I felt ignorant, I'm looking at my brothers and sisters speaking 3 and 4 languages, and I can only speak one.
Exactly.
I mean, just me. I'm not saying they made me feel just me. Like I feel like I suck. I don't speak.
It's not just you. A lot of people actually feel that way, and I always say this to myself as well. I wish I could speak more than just 2 languages, actually, because I only speak English and Wolof. But there's Mandinka, there's Fulani, there's a whole lot of different languages in my country as well. So I've got a lot to learn.
Yes, we all do. But life, life is about learning, and that's to make it interesting. So, Rene, I definitely thank you for joining us on the show today. And it's been a great conversation. And I know some of this conversation will probably clear up some things people may want to know or ideas they may have had about you. It's good to have that conversation.
That's not a problem. Thank you. And thank you for understanding me. And thank you for having me on your platform as well. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I'm always got time for the brothers and sisters. Like I say, we have to understand each other, right? And so we're different. And so we just have to, like I said, just a little patience with each other, just a little patience. We all got a story, right?
That's true.
But it's all, like I say, about just learning and growing as a family.
That's true. And if any of you want to visit the Gambia and want to know more, I'm more than welcome to actually help you with that. So I've got a whole lot of information. So all you have to do is email me, and I always respond back within 24 hours. So yes, I'm here to help.